50% overall from the field, but he was also 50% from threes. He's 5 of 10.
I know you're out there. It's okay. Stand back there.
No, more than likely, you're going to get that number 1 seed. And so I want Houston to be ranked at number 1 and 8.
Welcome, everybody, to this edition of Let's Rage Coogs, presented by the Saxenian Family, Steve Saxenian and the Saxenian Family. I am KG Chris Gardner, owner of the Houston Round Bar Review. And with me is Dayon Dunlap. How you doing, my man?
Oh, I'm doing well, man. Beautiful Saturday. Way to start the Saturday with a Cougs road win. It's going to be a beautiful Saturday.
As Dayon said, Cougs won in Waco, 82-76 in overtime. It was gritty. It was grimy. It was a typical Cougs victory. Real quickly, a couple of notes. Andy Yanez won't be able to join us. The overtime kind of changed Andy's schedule. He had hoped to join us audio. That won't happen. May have a short show today because I have a big plumbing issue here, and maybe based on what we need to do, might just mess up everything here in the house. So let's have some fun though while we can. When it was halftime, man, the Cougs had almost a perfect first half. What do you think was going to happen? You think the game was over? Baylor make a run? What do you think?
I definitely knew Baylor was going to make a run. I mean, they're too good of a team at home. I think Houston probably played their best first half they played all year. So there was no doubt in my mind that they would make a run. It would be a ball game. I didn't know how much of a run they would make and actually take a lead, but I definitely expected them to make a run. What was your expectations?
Same. I did. Who was it? I forgot the guy. Halftime guy with Clark Kellogg. Seth Davis, I think it was. Said the game was over. I'm like, no, no way, no how about that. Baylor's a good team. They're playing at home. So I knew Baylor would make a run. And plus, the Cougs, they shot so well in the first half, they would regress to the mean, and they did in the second half. A lot of those shots they had in the second half were good looks. Jamal, It just rolled off. They did not go in, and that helped Baylor make a comeback. Jacoby Walter, that young man is the real deal, man. He is the real deal. Really impressed with him.
He's special.
Yep.
He's special.
But
I think
Jamal,
for Houston, though. Oh, go ahead. I thought you.
Yeah, real quick. Jamal was 1 for 10 in the second half. He missed like his last 9 attempts, but he ended up getting some assists to Javier Francis. Jamal ended up with 10 assists. So he found different ways to help the team win. And that's what winners do. Hey, he got it done. There you go.
Yeah, I mean, not even just that. He's a natural point guard. He just scores by necessity. His natural game is getting assists. It was pretty much a typical Jamal Shead game in regards of recent. We've just seen him score more. Exactly what that team. Start the game, man. Jawan Robinson, his best player on the floor, dominated start to finish. Two steals early in that game and 2 assists early in that game. He was able to sustain that throughout the entire game. I think him and Jamal really that 1-2 punch. But it was a total team effort. Today. I think the first half and the second half, the difference was turnovers. Baylor had, I believe, like 8 turnovers at the half, and they were like 18, 19. 11, and Houston was able to capitalize and turn that defense into offense. So that was a lot to help Houston to get out into that big lead in the first half, and that really helped them to settle in. And defensively, they were just moving around. They were in the little minutes that Javier played in the first half, and then the minutes he played in the second half, he was big. I mean, both were the bigs for Houston today. Really were the difference maker. They played well. The guards played well, and just think if they didn't shoot as well from the free throw line, then they would have lost this game because Baylor shot lights out from the free throw line. So it was a total team win. Emmanuel stepped up big. LJ stepped up big. Total team effort. I love when Malik brought off the bench in his time. Damian hit a bucket, made a clutch free throw. And so, I mean, this was a total team effort right here.
Let's get through some of the comments because audience has hopped in. We appreciate you joining us here on Let's Rage Coogs. Chris B. Fact. Most road wins in the Big 12. This was a big quad 1 win for the Cougs, and now 10 or 11 wins in quad 1. That's accurate. I want to jump around to this one because I thought this same thing. Where was it? I think it was Joe Mendez with this one. With a question: are the cameras mounted on the ceiling at Baylor? Because some of the angles are bad, man. I mean, they were really bad to me. I thought, but you have to get used to watching it that way, and that's what it was. But this one. Petition for a Jamal Shead statue. You're the second person I've seen. Another person posted that on Twitter. Time to get Jamal a statue. That was before the game. And today is win in Waco. But Damian played some positive minutes. He didn't make both free throws, but he made one, and that was important right there as well. Baylor's experienced coach made his adjustment in the second half. Yep. The Cougs still find a way to win. Houston front court, as you touched on, was impressive today.
Very
Contributions
impressive.
from Juan, Jay, JoJo. It was an 8-man rotation. I'm hoping our colleagues who did make it to Waco with the team to cover the game, ask Coach Sampson if he can provide more details.
He did. If you just see a
Okay.
tweet, I saw a tweet from
Thank you.
Joseph Duarte of the Houston Chronicle, and it says that Coach Sampson confirmed that let me find it to read the exact tweet that Joseph Duarte of the Chronicle says that Houston guard Ramon Walker tore lateral meniscus and is out for the rest of the season per Coach Kevin Sampson. And so I think Houston had already solidified their rotation, and I think this either kind of bumps it up a little more, in my opinion. Although they lose the toughness, the rebounding, I think it will now allow Damian to settle even more into coming off the bench second in regards to guards, and knowing he's going to now be playing a little bit even more, because I think Malik probably will go a little bit more forward, be rotational there. But I like the way the rotation looked. Malik came in, instant impact, and Damian came in and made his little impact. And so I hate that for Ramon, though. I hate that for Ramon, because he was starting in consistent minutes. And with Terrence being down, he knew he had a role and he was making such of an impact. But it was a total team effort today. But I hate that for Ramon.
Agreed. And it's going to be an 8-man rotation here on out. You know, Big Sid might get some garbage minutes here and there, but it'd be an 8-man core rotation. So Coach Damian Dunn going to have to come through, period. And this question here, I already got a response from Ron HD. Do I think it's concerning that a 16-point lead? No. Ron says it's extremely alarming. I really don't think that at all. No. No. Go ahead.
Not at all. I mean, not at all. I mean, you're playing a 11-ranked team at home, and the way that Houston shot the ball in the first half, to how sloppy Baylor played in the first half, you got to know they're going to make shots. They made the 3-ball, got them in and back in the game in the second half. You got to know they're going to do that. I mean, there's no discredit to Houston or discredit to Baylor. I think they made shots. They got a great coach who made adjustments, and they got back into the game. I don't think it says about how Houston can stay the course and handle adversity and be able to withstand that on the road. And I think their previous road experiences propelled them forward. Then, especially in the first half, they looked so comfortable, especially going against that zone. They just attacked it. They looked well prepared. When J1 caught in the middle of the zone, he could really pretty much do whatever he wanted, whether it's to create diagonal pass. I mean, he made time play after play after play. And so I don't think it's alarming at all.
No, and this sounds, and I'm not trying to be arrogant or flippant when I say this, but runs happen when one team makes shots and another team misses. Okay, the Cougs shots they made in the first half to start the second half, they missed. Baylor made their threes. That's what happened. It wasn't bad shots. It wasn't turnovers. The Cougs had good looks. Jamal missed shots he normally make. Baylor made tough shots. Jacoby Walter made some tough-ass shots.
Bridges made some deep-ass threes.
Yes. So that's part of it. They made some long threes. Reggie Dennis, he was more in attack mode.
Yep.
And he attacked LJ off the dribble a few times in that second half. They made adjustments. That's what good teams should do. They made adjustments, and then they made shots.
Yep.
That's
all the crowd.
Yeah. And
first half, the crowd could never really get into it. That energy from the home team never could really surge. They made shots, went on the run, and they kind of got going in the second half. But, I mean, just big shots to the entire team. I mean, just going down to Emmanuel. He had a stellar game today. I mean, he's continued to put up a performance and really showing me he's a scorer. He's not just a streaky shooter or a shooter. He's a scorer, and he's been proving that all year. Got to the basket, he made 2 threes, but made all 6 of his free throws when he got there. And it was time where they might take a lead, and he took over on both sides of the court, knocked down a couple of big shots, then got a steal and dove on the floor. And so Emmanuel came up big today. In our last show, I said he was the X factor.
Right.
I believe he is the X factor going forward for Houston to win. I think you know what you're going to get from Jamal, whether it's scoring, but number one, you're going to get playmaking, the stability. He's going to give the team what they need. If they need scoring, he can provide that. If you need playmaking to get it, he's going to get you what you need. And so Emmanuel, I think, is the one that we need to take us over the top because he's been so consistent. Now taking it to that next step where, like I said, 17 to 20 points throughout this rest of the season, Big 12 tournament, NCAA. I like where we're headed.
And Emmanuel, at different points of the game, different Cougars stepped up.
Yes.
Emmanuel had a point where he had hit the deep three, then the bucket, the flip shot baseline, then he got the steal. Juwan had moments early. Javier Francis had moments late. Different Cougars at different points of the game. Hey, this is what winning teams do. That championship culture. That's a good point by Justin. They did not force shots, did not take bad shots and all. It was a good team win. Yes, Baylor made a run. The Cougs missed shots during that run, but they still maintained the course and won on the road in a tough environment, which some folks did not think they would do today. I thought it'd be a tough one. I saw, was it H-Town?
Got a Baylor fan in here.
Well, yeah, he's back and forth. He's a Coug fan and a Baylor fan. So yeah, he loves Marcus Sasser and Quentin Grimes and all that. But H-Town with this statement, he did say the Cougs will not lose another regular season game. Am I starting to believe? No, because of life in the Big 12. No, and injuries still play a part of it. So no, it'll happen I believe when it happens. But this win does one thing. I don't know about the math yet, but I think I'm getting close. The Cougs are now 3 games ahead of Baylor in the loss column. Only got 4 games left. So the Cougs are getting closer and closer to wrapping up a top 4 seed at minimum for the Big 12 tournament, which means they don't play until the quarterfinal. And now down to 8 healthy bodies for your rotation, as many days off as possible is a good thing. So they don't have to play on that day 2, where seeds 5 through 8 start playing. That's a good thing for Houston.
Yep. And they're now, I believe, 2 games ahead of Iowa State now in first place as well. And so that's another good statistic for Houston. But yeah, I think that's important. I think the team they just look so well. I think now their roles are defined and they know what's needed. And now I just like for what I'm saying, LJ, he looked composed. That was a good point by Justin. He never looked like he wanted to do too much, play within himself, made some big shots, which that first one I feel like got his confidence, settled him down. He looked like his normal self, and he was able to get to the free throw, knock down some big free throws. And like you said, Chris, everybody came up big in different moments. Yep. I mean, it was really a total team effort. Jamal with a beautiful alley-oop pass to Javier. Javier, he came up so big down the stretch. Yep. Blocking shots, affecting shots, catching a lob, catching and finish.
Man, that right-hand floater.
Right-hand floater, yes.
Footer. That was a deep one for him.
Yeah, it was. Man, this was a great win, a great total win. You credit to Houston for staying the course. You know how many teams can fold on the road when they build the momentum, they knock down shot after shot. Houston stayed the course, was able to make those plays down the stretch, make your free throws. J1 missed 1 free throw, and so Houston was locked in, and they got it done. This is what we expected.
Yep, and as we do during the show, I'm going to thank our secondary sponsor, Star Pizza. With multiple locations across the Houston area, Star Pizza is your go-to stop before or after the game. Be sure to stop by any of their locations every Tuesday during lunchtime for an all-you-can-eat pizza buffet, which is outstanding. Brother, you come home, come visit. You got to go on a Tuesday and stop by, get your grub on.
Most definitely.
Star Pizza, as always, has free delivery since 1976. And it's ironic. Well, it's not ironic, but Coach Sampson knows his team better than we do.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing he says to anyone who quibbles about the free throw shooting, if it's the right guys at the line, we shoot well.
Okay.
It was Emmanuel, LJ down the stretch for the most part. They made their free throws. It wasn't JoJo. It wasn't Javier. It was the right guys at the line in crunch time, and they made their free throws. But, hey, Damian, he's going to be in rotation now. Okay, with Ramon out, he's going to be in rotation, so hopefully he'll get his confidence back both ways. Coach believing in him and Damian believing in himself. He did not hesitate on the threes he got in the first half. His form was just off on him. Like he, just follow through was off, but he did not hesitate. He had some good moments. That's a positive. Last 2 games, he didn't have really any good moments in games, but he's taking a step forward. That's what you want to see. And now he knows, hey, I'm going to play the next 4 games. They're going to play in the postseason. So that's a good thing. And now he's going to do what his role. Just be a star in his role. He does not have to score 25 points in a game, 15 points in a game. Play good defense, rebound, and make some shots. That's what he needs to do. That's all.
Did that today, and I think now what's important for him, not only the confidence, I think as well as that is the rhythm. And when I watch him, he's a rhythm player. Now he knows he's going to get a certain amount of minutes, and now he can play through a rhythm, can catch, and just can play freely. And I think he did that. He made some good defensive plays today, knocked down that mid range, and those threes he got, like you said, he just missed them. But those are shots he can make. And so I think with him on the floor, now going to him and having him on the floor, that makes Houston even a more better offensive team with his ability to catch and shoot and to catch and score. I think when Baylor was going on the run and that mid-range jumper he made was a big shot in that time. And so I like where it is. I like the experience that he has throughout the season. Now I think his role is more defined with the unfortunate injury to Ramon. And so we wanted to give thoughts and prayers to him, his family, and know he's worked hard year after year to get to this point, to have a role, especially with Terrence being down. And so I think I like the rotation. I like what Malik is bringing, and I like Damian coming off knowing that he needs to be aggressive, needs to be assertive. That's just about making shots and finding that rhythm.
Let me ask you this. I want to get your thoughts on this. When Damian was at the line for the 1-and-1, were you surprised that Juwan was not on the floor? It was basically 5 guards.
Yeah. When I watched, I didn't notice it. Well, at first, I didn't notice it until when they had the mismatch. And then I saw J1 subbing in. I was like, oh, wow, J1 on the floor. And so then I started to calculate some of the thought processes of which, and you want to have some of your better free throw shooters on the floor. So I think that was the preferences in which to have some of your better free throw shooters on the floor and be able to defend it and rotate with it. Because if he makes that, now you're up 3, and now you need to defend the 3-point line. And so I think that was the thought process. So I wasn't so much surprised just because of the context of the game. But once I seen him going in, it did make me think about that for sure.
Yeah, I mean, and clear, it was obvious when the switch, when Missy was Missy, I forgot who was it, Ray J, had the ball.
I think Dennis passed to Missy.
So it was Damian and Jamal on defense, and then in the switching, and Damian was caught on Missy. I mean, Missy, that was Damian's man, basically. That's a tough cover for a man. 6'4", going against somebody 6'11" and long arms, athletic, and all those things.
That's one of those 2 first-round draft picks that Coach Sampson mentioned.
Yes, and Missy missed the free throw. These guys are not robots. Okay, so pressure affects all of us. Let's not forget. I don't know. I'm speaking for myself, my man. I don't know how you were, but come crunch time at the foul line, I'm not perfect. I wasn't gonna make every free throw. So they miss free throws. He's
a 50% free throw shooter too, and so that's not surprising. Yeah.
So it's not a choke or anything. He didn't miss on purpose.
But free throws were important though, because their team shot so well from the free throw, and they got so many more.
Goes back to the point.
Yes,
that Coach Sampson always says. Yep. It depends on who's at the line.
Yeah.
If that were Jacoby Walter,
we ended up with 21.
Chances are he'd have made the free throw, but it wasn't. Yeah. It was a guy who shoots a lesser percentage, and that's what it happens. But this was a hell of a game, though. I'm glad it's Big 12, another landmark for Big 12, another close game in the Big 12. The Cougs found a way to win, as everybody says, and we got new folks coming in. We appreciate you joining us here on Let's Rage Coogs, the unofficial, the original post-game show for Houston men's basketball and Houston football, presented by Steve Saxenian and the Saxenian Family, our primary sponsor, and of course, our secondary sponsor, Star Pizza. Great pizza there as well. I'm KG Chris Gardner of the Houston Round Bar Review. With me is my man, Darren Dunlap of Potsdam Majama. And Yanez is, I think, finishing up some teacher certifications, or is he coaching some more? I'm not sure which one. That's a busy young man.
Certain.
Yeah, but he wasn't able to join us because the game went in overtime. He had planned to join us via audio, and then the game went long. So, but
I got a question.
Go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
I got a question for you, Chris, and the fans that we have here in the chat. We appreciate for joining us. Do you guys think that this Houston Baylor is the basketball rivalry that Houston and the Big 12 will promote now that Texas is departing. I know you still got TCU in the conference, but in regards to that Texas rivalry per se, is the Baylor is going to be the preliminary
Brother,
rivalry?
no, they should, but they're going to promote Houston and Kansas. And I mean, the Kansas Houston game in Mexico. But in terms of playing twice each year, that should be a given. It should be a no-brainer. But this is the only time they're playing, right?
Yep.
This matchup in Waco. So no, I was surprised. It should be the Texas team should play each other twice.
I think going forward, I think they'll realize that. I think they'll change that. I do agree with you that they will pump that Houston and Kansas game, but I think this game can have just as much significance.
Oh, agreed. I'm with you. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and so you see, it was prime time, 11 a.m. So I think that's something that Big 12 might see, and they might probably realize that they should have that home and home every year to kind of build that rivalry and build something for them to promote. Especially if Houston goes on to win the title, you have 2 national championship programs.
I'm all for it because it's a short drive for everybody. Baylor fans, Houston drives both ways, so it makes sense.
Oh, I forgot about this. This is a good point too. Forgot about this one.
I was just going to say, but the issue is
that's a good comment. Good point right there.
With the conference expanding and probably going to, I think they've agreed to it, 20 conference games, and you play 5 teams twice and the other 10 teams just once. So I hope those 5 teams for Houston, Baylor, one of them. I like to see. Are you going? I mean, can you do it? Have Baylor twice? Oh, Samson, I like it. Baylor twice, Arizona twice, Kansas twice.
That'd be tough.
Yeah, TCU twice, and Texas Tech twice, something like that.
Yeah, because we wouldn't play it now. Think about it, we wouldn't play TCU once as well.
Yeah,
you're right.
So it's
we got Cincinnati twice, and I think they was keeping that going from the ACC. I can understand that, but I would have much rather had Baylor twice, at least TCU twice at the very. Yeah. Well, can't forget about Tech as well, but
TCU and Baylor for sure.
Yes, more definitely. Most definitely.
But we'll see how it all plays out. But they're gonna do what they think is best for TV as well, for ratings purposes. Understood. But Baylor's a champion. Okay, they won the championship recently, and that's a rivalry. That's an in-state rival, so it makes sense to all of us. Hopefully, at some point, it'll make sense to the conference office, and they'll get that done. But it's life in the Big 12. Oh, and we got to say this. Salute to our fan in Germany chiming in with the star in the contribution. Put it on there. Thank you very much for your support. Thank you for watching. Thank you for chiming in. I love technology. We got folks watching us from Germany via StreamYard platform. It's always good to get that support. Life in the Big 12 is fun. Man, I haven't asked you this. I'm putting you on the spot. In your opinion, is the Big 12 better than the SEC?
I think so. And no knock to the SEC because they're a really good conference as well. I mean, but you just look at the teams this year. I mean, not going from other years. We just got to go with this year. And I think so. I think top to bottom, the Big 12.
That's the key.
Yeah, top to bottom. That's the top to bottom. I think so. Yeah. I mean, because you look at the bottom of the SEC right now, you got the Missouris, the Arkansas of the world this year, Vanderbilt as well, and Texas A&M. They're a good team, but they're right around their part as well. But I think top to bottom, I'll go with Big 12. What about you?
Oh, I agree. Yeah. I just want to put out there for conversation because there are some folks who that the SEC is deeper. Who was it? Seth Greenberg said the SEC was the best conference. No, Seth. No. And the key is top to bottom. Every major conference has good/great, if you want to say elite teams at the top. Purdue, of course. UConn, of course. North Carolina in the ACC. Everybody's got good teams at the top. Arizona in the Pac-12. Of course, Arizona's coming to the Big 12. And next year won't be any question. Okay, once Arizona joins, y'all can just forget the discussion. Yeah. It is the Big 12, period. But top to bottom, the Big 12 is the top conference in college basketball. This conference goes, in the bracketology goes each 9 for the Big 12, 9 for the SEC. Okay, that's fine. But go 10 through 14. Go 10 to 15. So, yeah, Big 12, top to bottom, is the best conference in basketball. And it's going to get better next year. We're, as a basketball fan, yeah, me and the credentialed media people, that's nice. But as a basketball fan, looking forward to next year and the matchups, looking forward to Arizona. Hopefully, coming to Fertitta, going to Tucson. It's just the competition. Iron sharpens iron. The crowd environments are going to be great. The fans support their teams. It's, y'all know I love basketball way more than football. So, but I'm just
in the programs, the quality of it, like you right on, the quality of it, it's high quality basketball. I mean, I'm excited too. And just speaking of high quality, I mean, just steady looking at Jamal's stat line for today, 12 points and 10 assists. And most people go crazy for the high point totals, but just looking at this Houston team to be able to win on the road with their best player, only scoring 12 points, but having 10 assists, only 2 turnovers, along with the rebounds he had. What does that say about the type of point guard he is and the type of player he is to have this type of game and impact to still propel the team to victory?
And it's interesting to me because Jamal is getting, I think it's changed the last week or so, but he was not getting a lot of attention even. Hell, some within the conference, because you look at other players within the conference, he wasn't scoring enough. His scoring average wasn't high enough. He's a point guard. How many legit point guards average 18, 20 points a game? Okay, but Jamal can do it if needed, but he gets those assists and he wins. And isn't that the job of a point guard? Okay, to score when needed, but also get assists to help his team win. Jamal is a winner. Period. He does it. Every little thing that a coach would love, I promise you, every other coach in Big 12 would love to have Jamal Shit run their offense. No doubt about it.
Not only is he a winner, the difference between good players and great players is the ability to make the others around him better. He makes others around him better, gets Javier in spots to where it's easy for him. He just catch and finish. And so, I mean, he and the team complements him so well. And so for him to be able to pick his spots, have IQ that he has to know when to be aggressive, when to get Emmanuel a shot, when to get LJ a shot, when to keep feeding J1 because he's been so dominant. And just, I mean, he had a couple of turnovers, 2 of his turnovers today, in which he was like, one of the low pass to Emmanuel. His second turnover was, I can't remember if I remember the first one of them, but I mean, he's just an elite guard. I think he's really Chris Paul back. Just from watching him, he's now able to pick his spots, know where he needs to get to on the floor, certain spots, pull the defense. He's seeing the game 2 steps ahead because that lob he got to Javier was a couple plays before that it was there.
Dion's having Wi-Fi issues, so we're going to keep talking till he gets it cleared up again. But not back to, but the point about Jamal should be drafted. Well, first, we'll get the Mark Minatrea right here. Every Big 12 road game has the chance of a second weekend NCAA tournament game. Agreed. Life in the Big 12, it sounds like a broken record, but it's true. Life in the Big 12, win on the road is tough. And I'm sure Coach Sampson said it a few times in the post-game press conference, which Go Coogs and Duarte are at. And so we'll have probably Ryan has already posted some comments on his Go Coogs platform on X, Twitter, Musk, whatever. But Houston will send to the media hopefully, barring Wi-Fi issues, Coach Sampson's post-game press conference, so we can be able to post some clips ourselves. But yeah, I'm going to talk just for a little bit, see when Deion gets that cleared up. Y'all don't mind seeing my shiny bald head here on this edition of Let's Rage Coogs, presented by the Saxenian Family. Jamal, as a draftable person, I think he'll get drafted. Well, second round for sure. Not sure about first round. It's key that he gets selected by the right team and team that know how to utilize and value what Jamal brings. Because there are some NBA teams who are clueless about winning basketball. Let's just be real about it. They and those teams, there's a reason why they lose and lose consistently. You just look at the standings. Y'all not hard to figure out. But Jamal is a winner. He plays defense. He makes tough shots. He leads. He gets assists. It's all part of being a winning point guard. And I think his outside shot continues to improve. So that's all part. I think he could be a Kyle Lowry, have a Kyle Lowry type career, a Fred VanVleet type career. So that is important to me. Now we'll see, because I've been wrong before, but I think if NBA teams want to win and who have winning track records, select Jamal Shead. If he happens to not get drafted, then pick him up as a free agent and get Jamal Shead. But Jamal Shead is a winner. All right. Let me see. Okay.
Yeah, let me get in on that. Yeah, I definitely think he's.
Go ahead.
I definitely think he's an NBA point guard. Sorry for those technical difficulties, like Chris mentioned. My Wi-Fi was going in and out. And but Jamal definitely is an NBA point guard. But like Chris said, it's always a caveat of which GM or which team who wants to win. Like Chris said, also is some teams don't jack nothing about winning. Actually, I won't say they don't care. That's going too far, but they don't, and they don't win. And so I think, to Chris's point, Jamal should bring a plethora of things to help your team win from plenty of ways that he can impact it and help the team win. So I think, I don't know, in regards to what round that I've seen playing, probably has around a second round grade, can propel to a first round grade with a tournament run. I think he can be one of those players can have that benefit, play himself into the first round.
Okay, what are your thoughts on this? Oh, briefly, real quick. I think it's going to happen. I know I'm not a big proponent of this. Me and Deion disagree on it, but that's okay. Rankings don't matter. Well, the AP and the coaches poll don't matter. But do we see Houston being number one team in the country on the AP? Yes. UConn's loss was to a good Creighton team, but the Cougars are still number one in the net. They've been number one in the net for almost the entire season. That's more important than being ranked number one in the AP poll. All three of the teams are number one seeds in the tournament projections, and all three of them pretty much are locked into their regionals. Purdue will be number one seed in the Midwest. UConn will be number one seed in the East. Houston is on track to be number one seed in the South, and that means Dallas. Some folks a week ago said the gap between UConn, Purdue, and everybody else was massive. And UConn lost, and then Purdue lost. I'm going to say this. The gap between UConn, Purdue, Houston, and the fourth number one seed is large. Okay, I'm not going to say massive, but I think those three teams have pretty much cemented a number one seed. So as long as that happens, the Cougs will be in Dallas for the Dallas region. And unless you're in Germany, most of us, you can drive from H-Town to Dallas for a regional. So just that's my.
That means that region, that Final Four would be in that city that region is in, right? That's what that means.
Yep. So the Cougs right now, the first two rounds would be Memphis, and then the regional would be in Dallas for the South region. That'd be the Cougs spot. So yeah, they'd be in Dallas because Arizona's lost to Washington State on Thursday. Help keep distance, or even increase the distance between Houston and them. So I don't really see, knock on wood, the Cougs win 3 of their last 4. Heck, I think 2 of their last 4. They will still be a number one seed. Who'd have thought that, man? I mean, first year in the Big 12, we knew and expected Houston to be good this year.
Mm-hmm.
But honestly, how many of us, I speak for myself, I did not expect them to win the conference their first year in the Big 12. Compete for it, yes. But they're in the driver's seat to win the Big 12 in year one of being in the Big 12. That is just so impressive.
And I say I expected it to diminish how impressive it is, but I did expect it. Just throughout the landscape of what Houston has been doing over the past few years, what they had returning with Jamal coming, leading the way, with LJ coming over, who you know what you're getting. I mean, you have experience with them, and so with Coach Samp and staff. So I can say I expected it. But that still doesn't diminish how impressive it is, like you said, to your point, Chris. And I mean, just keeping in perspective how far Houston has come. I think that also goes into how impressive it is and the sustainability that Coach Sampson and his staff has been able to sustain over this period of time. I mean, Coug fans take it for granted. Some Coug fans, all they know is getting into the tournament. They don't know anything different. So I expected it, and I'm loving it. I think that this is only for what's to come, man. Get used to it.
Agreed. Get used to it. Coach Sampson says, we expect to win. And that is a change in the expectations for the program, for the fans, because prior to him coming to Houston, a lot of fans expected losses in Houston basketball, regardless of who it was.
You
But
know
now,
what game? Sorry to cut you off, but you know what game sticks out to me?
go ahead.
And how one of the games that Houston kind of turned that point was at Texas Southern. They were playing against a ranked Arkansas team. I don't remember who they had on that team, Arkansas at that time, but they were ranked and Houston beat them and fans stormed the court. You remember that game?
Yep. Yeah.
That was one of the turning points for it where people for myself, I speak for myself, that I started to expect Houston to beat some of these Power 5, Power 4 type teams.
Yeah. And this is legit. This is a legit statement. Yeah, we are on track to win the Big 12 our first year, but we still have road games at OU, at UCF. Agreed. That's why about H-Town Big Dobbs. I do not. Can they do it? Can the Cougs finish the rest of the season without a loss? Yes. Regular season, let me be clear. Regular season, sure. But road games in the Big 12, road games in the Big 12. All right, so let's not discount all that. But Iowa State, same. But they're still playing on the road in the Big 12. So anybody could lose, especially on the road in the Big 12. It just shows you how competitive the Big 12 is. My main thing, I want to see the Cougs win the conference. But first things first, wrap up a top 4 seed in the Big 12 tournament and get that extra day of rest, because that's what they need. Then you do that. Then you go ahead and get the number 1 seed overall and all that good stuff and get the trophy and have Coach Sampson wave the towel and all that. Yeah, let's do all that. But first things first. Next game up, Cincinnati, home, Tuesday. Right now, it is a 6 o'clock start. I doubt it'll change to 8 because it's Cincinnati. No shade on them, but they're not battling for first place. So it's not really one of those made-for-TV changes kind of thing. So traffic-wise, it's going to be tough for everybody to get there by 6. But it's a game. It's a home game, Deion. You know what that means? Cougs should win. Okay, yeah. Cougs win that. One step further and getting that number 1 seed in the Big 12 tournament. Impressive.
Very impressive. Very impressive. What you guys thoughts, your thoughts, Chris, as well as the chat, for Coach Sampson, Coach of the Year. First year in the Big 12. We'll talk about how impressive it is. Will voters, will fans diminish how impressive it is because of the consistency within the program?
I think he's
South Carolina coach is right up there too, in my opinion.
Well, no, I was going to say Big 12 Coach of the Year, yes, for sure.
Oh yeah.
Coach Schultz at Washington State is definitely got a legit shot at winning Coach of the Year, National Coach of the Year. I was surprised and disappointed not to see South Florida's head coach Amir Abdul-Rahim on the list for National Coach of the Year. Come on. Have y'all seen how bad South Florida has been for years? And to see what he's doing his first year at South Florida, man, come on. He's got to get some recognition for that accomplishment, really. But hey, that's my thoughts on that.
No, I agree. I second that. No question.
All right, let's wrap it up, man. Any thoughts on the matchup this coming up Tuesday, home against Cincinnati?
A team that we're familiar with, which we beat them already in their house this year. And so at home, I expect Houston, of course, to win. And look forward to them like not only to get another step closer to solidifying an outright Big 12 regular season championship. I think that's important. I think Coach Sampson will be so proud of that, and Houston is going to promote and be very proud of that accomplishment if it is to come to fruition. You know, we got games left, and beating Cincinnati is another step closer to that. And I have the expectation they will do that, but it's going to be tough.
Yeah, Cincinnati. I'm not sure what they're doing if they're playing right now, or today, or a game is later on, but they lost. But earlier in the week to Oklahoma State at home, so they're kind of struggling. I mean, their home game against Iowa State, they had 25 turnovers, and a lot of them were just careless turnovers as well. I mean, yeah, you got to give defense credit to a point, but some of those mistakes were just like, to borrow Coach Sampson's one of his favorite phrases, is like they were throwing to the wrong color, thinking it was a teammate. I mean, it was some really bad turnovers. So we'll see which Bearcat team shows up. But because it is a matchup against an opponent from the AAC, and the Bearcats need to try to play better and get some wins, it's going to be a grind. Cougs, I think, will win by double digits, but it'll be a grind. And then we just have the post-game show for Let's Rage Coogs Tuesday around 8:30 or so, maybe 9 o'clock. And we'll talk about another victory. So I'm going to say my talk and then give it to my man to close us out. But thank you, everybody, to watching this edition of Let's Rage Coogs, presented by Steve Saxenian and the Saxenian Family. Thank you for raging with us today as we recapped the Houston Cougars 82-76 road win in Waco to improve to 24-3 overall, 11-3 in the Big 12 to remain in first place. I am KG Chris Gardner of the Houston Roundbar Review. Follow me on the social platforms at Houston Roundbar Review on TikTok, Threads, Spoutable, Instagram, and of course, subscribe to the Houston Roundbar Review on YouTube. Click that bell so you can receive notifications of when new shows are posted. And also subscribe to Paul Samajama. Tell your friends about what we do, because Let's Rage Cougs, as we are proud to say, we are the original post-game show for Houston men's basketball and Houston football. And without further ado, don't want to forget it. Thank you, as always, to our secondary sponsor, Star Pizza. With multiple locations across the Houston area, Star Pizza is your go-to stop before or after the game. Be sure to stop by any of their locations every Tuesday during lunchtime for an all-you-can-eat pizza buffet. Star Pizza, as always, has free delivery since 1976. That's almost as old as I am. But the Houston Roundbar Review, since 1994. Local name, global perspective. Oh, man, you got it.
Again, appreciate everyone taking time on their Saturday to join me and Chris today for another edition of Let's Rage Coogs. Big win for Houston on the road in Waco at Baylor. Let's continue this dominance, to continue to get these wins. Fans come out and support against San Antonio and join us right after for the original post-game show. And it's not even close. We've been doing this. We ain't new to it. We true to it. So thank you guys for joining us. And always, let's go Cougs.